Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, the news is out that Kemba Walker plans to sign with the New York Knicks after he clears waivers from his buyout with the Oklahoma City Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. Leon Rose found his starting point guard. It was up in the air what was going to happen. Were we going to end up with Dennis Schroeder, Reggie Jackson? According to reports, the Knicks spoke to Kendrick Nunn yesterday, and he decided to go to the Los Angeles Lakers to try to win a championship. But Kemba Walker is on his way home, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about it. I got Andy with me. We got Nate, who's just waking up to come talk about Kemba Walker. I want to know what you think about it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing up and popping. Andy, good morning to you, my brother. How you? Well, it's not good morning to you.
Yeah,
good evening.
Yeah,
to you.
What up, Sam? What up, Nate? What up to the chat? Like you said, it's 5 p.m. for me. I just got home from work. Heard the news when I was driving. I'm extremely happy for several reasons, but we're gonna get to that.
Okay, all right, Nate. Real quick.
How you doing, man? Good morning. It's morning over here.
Yeah. How you feeling, man? How you feeling about this signing by the New York Knicks?
I think like a lot of Knicks fans. I mean, it's a better upgrade over Peyton. I definitely take him over Schroeder. I just worry about the durability. That's my only issue with him.
I mean, given the situation, how much better could the Knicks do given the situation? To be honest with you, how much better could they do? Right? How much better?
I was worried they were going to bring back Peyton, so I'm glad that they got this guy.
I wasn't worried about that. Legion.
I like this move a lot, man. I like this move a lot. This is a low-risk, high-reward move. The knee injury sucks. I know he also had a rib injury as well, too, man. So obviously there's a reason obviously why he's being bought out. But if healthy, I mean, probably your smartest point guard on the floor, starting point guard, a starting guard, period, can shoot, can play in the pick and roll, could draw fouls. I mean, the guy and everybody thought that when he went to the Celtics that, people were scared, like, if he could fit with, say, Tatum and Brown. And when he got there, he fit that team a lot better than Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving's a better player than he is. And I thought that in that regular season, they looked really good for that Celtics team. And obviously, he had some duds in the playoffs, but I like Kemba Walker. I like his game. I like his IQ. Yeah, man. Solid move by the Knicks, man.
I think it's a real solid move by the Knicks. And when you look at it, you got Kemba Walker, you got Derrick Rose. Both guys at this point in their careers, maybe injury prone, but neither one of them have to play 37, 38 minutes because you have two guys that can play at an all-star level from that point guard position. You know what I'm saying? So they can split those minutes. I mean, there's 48 minutes in the game. Those guys can play 24 minutes apiece. And the Knicks still get the job done from that position. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be worries about whether or not he's gonna suffer injuries because the last few years, he's been dealing with knee injuries, like you said, rib injuries. He didn't play his best in Boston, but better believe he knows what Tom Thibodeau is about. He knows he's coming back to New York. He understands what he needs to do. Die Hard, what's poppin' with you, brother? How you feeling?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night. I feel I'm into energies and stuff like that, so I felt that energy draining me all last night. I could not go to sleep. So right when I'm about to go to sleep, I finally get tired enough to go to sleep. That's when I get that notification. So anyway, without all the drama, Elfrid Payton, he's what we thought Elfrid Payton, what Tibbs wanted Elfrid Payton to do for us. He sets the table with the first guys, and then you have Derrick Rose coming off the bench with the thing. I'm super excited. Because it's nothing technical that we have to talk about, is he going to do this? He's going to do that? He's going to play Elfrid Payton's role in the way that Tibbs imagined Elfrid Payton playing. I was playing highlights of him. He gets charges. So he could play defense. He could still strip guys, or whatever. So he's gonna do that, and that little say he's gonna be able to get into the paint. He can shoot the three a little bit. He has the clutch gene. You know what I'm saying? So setting the table with the starting five, Kemba Walker fits that perfect, especially with the way that Tom Thibodeau likes to do isolations and stuff like that. We're like one of the highest teams and with isolation. Kemba Walker fits that bill. And then when you get tired of looking at him, put Derrick Rose in. And if guys get hurt, then you got Emmanuel quickly, you got McBride's. Like we got so much insurance for these guys. Yeah, I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited as well. Now that Kemba Walker's in tow, Andy, where does this? We were talking about the Knicks and where they are in the Eastern Conference, right? Most people thought, probably between 6 and 8 with the current roster. What does adding Kemba Rose do? Where does it put the Knicks now?
Well, it's giving us better chances than we had yesterday, that's for sure. And listen, I was thinking that probably we can like aim for the 6th seed. I think we can try to aim for the 5th. I wouldn't risk saying 4th seed because it's getting crowded in the East.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only because plenty of East Coast teams got better. That's going to make the whole schedule for you a little bit worse, right? Last year, you had like 3 or 4 teams definitely way out of range that we were thinking. The rest, a couple of teams were tanking. So I think this definitely gets us in a better position that we were, before the signing at least. And I'm so extremely happy. I told you this off the, before we got on. It's not only about, signing Kemba. It's that the Knicks organization are viewed by a former 4-time All-Star player and considered after him getting waived or bought out to sign with the Knicks. Listen, this is the first move. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a unhappy player at the deadline and he will get a buyout, a vet one. I know, I'm not going to lie, might be, a Kevin Love, someone like that. And he's not only going to consider the Lakers or the Nets. So we're going to be in that pool. And that makes the Knicks franchise, organization really ran, good. And I'm happy about that situation. Not only Kemba, because, he's a clearly better player for me, at least, than Alfred, than, Ish Smith and those lower tier guys that were, were left for us to sign, right? And the other thing is, listen, nobody mentioned it. No reporter, no podcasters mentioned his name. So listen, the front office is working, even if the Knicks fans aren't happy that they're getting, information from a Berman, from whatever. So I'm really happy that, we pulled out a maneuver like this. This is a huge thing. And props for the GMs, working on it that way.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, and I'm just playing a little devil's advocate here, do you think Kemba Walker was just like, I'm definitely going to the Knicks because, I love what they're doing? Or did he feel like this is what, they're looking for a point guard, this was the perfect fit, and where else am I going to go?
Well, to answer that question, I think, listen, if you're any point guard getting bought out and you're looking for redemption, there's no better place than a team that has minutes for you and on a stage like New York. Not to mention that he's from Brooklyn, if I'm correct.
Bronx.
Bronx. So listen, it doesn't go
better and like this. What do you think? What do you think, Nate? Is that the reason why Kemba signed with the Knicks?
I think there was a lot of persuasion probably made by Leon Rose and the people in the front office to come to New York. I think Kemba might have been interested in the situation, but I think the Knicks definitely probably pushed really hard after they struck out with all the other guys. And they said, hey, like Andy said, we have minutes. You're coming back home. We're going to pay you $8 million a year, and we'd like to see you, try to revitalize your career with the Knicks and bring this team to prominence, And so I think there's a lot of persuasion by them, which they should. I mean, we need a point guard, and there's not really any point guard left. So unless they're thinking about trading one, why not get one on a buyout market that, when healthy is a good point guard. I mean, let's be real. He's a good point guard. 19 points and 5 assists are not bad numbers. I'm a little worried about his shooting. His shooting wasn't as good as it was in past years. So I'm hoping he can revitalize that. But I think with this move, I think this puts us in the 6th and 7th seed. I really do. I think that we're not better than the other teams that are ahead of us. But, it's all about chemistry and how we're going to gel. And, if Kemba can stay healthy, God willing, with Randall, hopefully playing at a high level, Barrett takes a huge step forward, and our young guys just continue to get better. I mean, this team very well could be better, but right now I put them at the 6th or 7th seed just based on the teams on paper, what they look like.
Yeah, I think they're definitely better. You're just speaking in and of themselves. They're definitely better than last year. You upgraded the point guard position and you upgraded the wing position. So they're definitely better. And then, of course, Kemba Walker. How much did Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, Gmo, play together last season?
I'm not sure. So Evan Fournier played, 20 games, I think?
I don't think they played even together because Walker was traded.
Kemba was hurt.
Yeah, Kemba was hurt, and he was traded to the OKC Thunder. Meanwhile, Fournier was a trade deadline move, I think. So I think they, swapped up each other. Probably the same locker, but.
Okay.
So, yeah, he only played 6.
Okay. How much better, Gmo? Just not even talking about the rest of the Eastern Conference. How much better does it just make the team? Forget about the rest of the Eastern Conference. Does it make the Knicks?
It makes them a lot better, man. And I hate using last year as a comparison because obviously whatever. But you're talking about taking off pressure. Obviously, everything went healthy, right? You're talking about taking off pressure off of Julius Randle, a guy who can operate away from Julius Randle. And another thing, too, he has, let's be honest, this team was lacking IQ last year in terms of intelligence on the court. Like, go back to the game. I think it was a game we actually went to, Sim, on this channel. No, it wasn't because I was actually watching some TV. And Kemba Walker, I mean, you watched that game he played against the Knicks, and he was attacking Randle constantly when he knew that he could get past the first man on the pick and then just keep getting Randle to foul trouble. Just kept doing that little small, drive deep into the paint and then, dig into the shoulder and throw it up for the layup and draw the contact. I mean, this team last year, when we talk about the point guard position, it's not just, Derrick Rose and that stuff. Derrick Rose is a good player, don't get me wrong, but you're talking about a relatively solid, smart point guard who can control, when healthy, can control the pace of the game, knows when to attack, knows when to get it to the right guy. And he's a dog. He's outside of injuries, right? The health and the knee, and probably lack of natural size. But this is a type of guy, the type of dog that Tom Thibodeau will love. You know what I mean? So talk about cerebral, talk about smart. He makes us a lot better. Last year, every time he needed to get out of a situation, it was give it to Randle, right? And it was great in the regular season, right? It was, hey, Randle's hot right now, beat the hot hand. Then Derrick Rose came on, was great off the bench. RJ Barrett had his spurts. IQ had his spurts early on. And let's be honest, last year we were very fortunate. I'm not trying to downplay. We had a great season, but we were very fortunate. We had that run as well too. But you're having a guy where this year you can't get by on just being fortunate. You got to be a lot smarter. And I think that outside of his play, he ups the overall team intelligence, which is something that we've lacked. Probably since, I'm not saying he is this guy, but last time we had a top intelligent guard was what, Jason Kidd. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I think this is huge for the Knicks, both mentally and physically.
Yeah. Die Hard, the rumor about his contract is somewhere around 3 years, $24 million, something like that. I think that's one of the rumors that's out there. How do you feel about that contract? Because now, and one thing I do want to say is, before we even get too deep into that, all of the contracts that the Knicks signed. Originally, Alec Burks, people thought that his contract was, 3 years straight up guaranteed for all 3 years. But we later found out that Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, all of them are 2 years with an option for the third year, which makes things very different. So you would think that it's the same for Kemba Walker. You know, if it is a if it is a 3-year, $24 million deal, that there's an option for the third year, which means the Knicks are setting themselves up to continue to build over the next 2 years and establish their foundation a little bit more, develop more chemistry, and then take another shot in 2 years from now. But what do you think about that contract?
I think it's good. That's the one thing we got to put respect on the Knicks name. One of the guys we're talking about that the Knicks didn't they missed their targets or whatever. I think all that is a bunch of nonsense. All these reporters, they always making these reports saying that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it never happens because it's not true. What's really true is that the Knicks from the jump knew that they were just going to run it back. Because the first thing that we did is we signed Alec Burke. Second thing we did is that we signed all the other guys. Now we're sitting there waiting. Everybody and their mother saying like, "Yo, how come the Knicks didn't sign a point guard?" Because this was happening. They already knew that Kemba Walker was working out a buyout. This didn't just happen just now. Where Kemba Walker woke up this morning and said, "Hey, can you guys buy me out?" Okay, say sure, go ahead. It doesn't work that way. What's the purpose of having all these guys in the front office, Worldwide West? Nobody knows nothing. Of course they know that. So I think the Knicks already knew that Kemba Walker was gonna be coming here. You know what I'm saying? The Kendrick Dunn rumor. I think that was BS too. I think that he wanted to go to the Lakers. Lonzo Ball wanted to go to Chicago. They wanted to go to these different teams. Everybody that signed wherever they signed right away. They knew where they wanted to go. Kemba Walker with this $8 million contract. I think this is all premeditated. 3-year contract. I expect it to be a carbon copy of everybody else. 2 years with the team option. God bless America, because in 3 years we can do this all over again. Now, right now we have a team that I feel confident. See, I don't like to give nobody no credit. The Knicks is my team. I don't care what Miami did. I don't care what Chicago did. 6 seed, 7 seed. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm ready to bang out whoever's out there. Wherever the chips may fall, let's get in the playoffs and let's see who really could play. That's where I'm at with it. So I'm not giving nobody no credit, but I must give the Knicks credit first before I do and give anybody else credit. That's where I am with this whole thing.
Okay.
So I just think the Knicks are putting on a clinic, and we need to give them the respect that they deserve.
Okay. Guillermo, your thoughts on the contract and the fact that all these guys, have 2 years in and out, or a team option, I'm assuming.
Yeah, at first I was kind of down about that, but until I found out they were all 2+1s outside of Fournier. So I mean, we do have some flexibility, and that kind of changes my outlook a little bit on this free agency. Obviously, we're not there yet regarding big time guys want to come to us because we are the Knicks or because it's Leon Rose or whatever. So you just have to be patient in that regards. But yeah, I mean the contract. They say it was going to be like $8 million for Kemba. So
yeah, that'd be like 3 years, $24 million. I think.
Oh, you said. I'm sorry about that. You already said. So I mean that's perfectly fine. Again, take these flyers and also draft for these positions. So you could develop some guys, give guys 5, 10, like you said, situational, right? So if, say, Kemba is kind of done by, say, the second year, maybe somebody steps up. I think they're trying to groom IQ to be that next guy. But just on the contract, again, flexibility, it makes sense. It's smart. You keep treading water until you hit big or until one of your draft picks hits for you. If you can actually develop one of these guys behind all this depth. So, yeah, smart by the front office. Now, I mean, you talk about Worldwide West. The main guy is Brock Aller. I mean, this is a guy who he was screwing guys over on other teams for his team, right? For Cleveland, he was screwing guys over because he's such a smart capologist. So, it's nice to see this value being used for us. Even though I will say, people are going to kill me in the chat, outside of TH Day, Steve Mills actually did do the same thing in terms of signing guys to smart contracts. He didn't sign the right guys, but he signed to relatively flexible contracts. Again, having a guy like Brock Aller and having a guy like Leon Rose, they know they're supposed to know the industry. Have a guy like Brock Aller who can keep us flexible. That's his value. Yeah. So smart move by the Knicks.
Okay.
Shout out to Walter Perrin too, because everyone forgot about him. He's still signed as the assistant GM. Nobody ever mentions him. So I feel like everybody needs to be mentioned. This is a team effort. It can't just be one guy sitting in the room. Hey, Brock, did you get it? No, okay. that's not how it works. I think the whole team is taking. We got to put respect on everybody's name.
Perrin he's head of scouting, so I think when it comes to signing contracts, not to say Walt Perrin doesn't have any input. I mean, the main guy, Brock Aller, he's basically like the Phil Jackson of signing, screwing other teams over in terms of making sure his team is good. So I mean, I think the whole front office getting praised, but Brock Aller is like he's your, when you need a 3-point shot, he's basically, your Steve Kerr to, well, Steve Kerr's probably not the best, but give me a 3-point shooter. He's your Curry in that regard, and making sure that we're flexible and contracts work for us.
Yeah.
Without a doubt,
but,
man.
I get the analogy.
Yeah. Kemba Walker, ladies and gentlemen, in 2020, 2021, he averaged 19 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, 5 assists per game, and that's pretty much on par with his career stats. His career stats are 19.9 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 5.4 assists. He shot 42% from the field last season, 36% from 3. He shot 89% from the free throw line. I think I have 81% in there. He shot 89% from the free throw line. All of those numbers are right on par with what he's done for his career. 6 foot, 184 pounds. And he's coming to the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming home to New York. I want to get to a couple of phone calls. I'm going to get my man Evergreen here in the building. So we can get his take. He's going to be pumped up. Let me get you a phone call right here, and then we'll get to Evergreen in a minute. Caller, you live. What's popping?
What's going on, Sam? How you doing, panel? It's Nick in Jersey.
What's going on, Nick? How you feeling, man? How are you feeling?
I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I love this signing. It makes the Fournier signing make a lot more sense, and I feel much better about that. And these guys are significant improvements over Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton. And you bring back a healthy Mitchell Robinson, our starting five is looking pretty good right now.
So, okay, you said it makes you feel better about the Fournier signing. Why does it make you feel better?
It rounds out the starting five, I think. I mean, I think Kemba is going to make Julius Randle much better too. I think you say he's a 4-time All-Star at our starting point guard. And we got a guy that got MVP votes last year as our backup point guard, And I'm not worried about the injuries. I know a lot of people are saying that they're injury prone, but like you said, they're going to split time. And both of those guys can keep themselves healthy by splitting time. And, that's only going to maximize their performance when they're actually on the floor. And I'm sure one of them is going to go down at some point during the season for 10, 15 games or something like that. But that's just going to open up more time for the guys we just drafted. Then we're going to see McBride in there. Or if we put Burks at point guard, then we'll see Grimes on the floor. It's all good. And I think that the real reason why I like this, not just that it gets us, it significantly improves us, but it doesn't lock us into anything long term. It's not like we're forced to roll with this core of guys for 3 or 4 years. All these deals that we made this offseason, they're 2 plus a 1-year option. So after this season, Burks and Nerlens and Rose, these guys are effectively going to be 1-year deals left on their contracts. Fournier is going to effectively have 2 years left on his contract after this season. The Kemba deal is what, 1 year? I mean, we're paying Kemba less than we're paying Nerlens Noel. It's unbelievable.
Well, one of the rumors that's out there is that it's 3 years, 24 million. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to find out. We obviously won't find out until he clears waivers and then he signs with the Knicks. Then we'll see what those real numbers are. If it's 1 year, if it's 3 years, 24 million. Listen, 3 years, 24 million for me, it wouldn't be a bad deal because it's still tradable.
Absolutely. And again, it's clear what they're doing. The strategy is build off the foundation that they established last year. They're keeping a kind of a core together, but they have all of these assets that they could trade now. So if they want to cash in on the assets and go out and get a superstar over the course of this upcoming season or the following season, they still have that option to do that. But what they're also doing at the same time is they're positioning themselves for the huge free agency classes in 2023 and 2024, which has a whole bunch of superstars. Yeah. So, it's not like they're locked in to this core, and when it fails, they're done. It's like, no, they're gonna be better this year than they were last year, and they're positioning themselves to continue to improve. It's a really good thing. So yeah. I was wondering, what do you guys see? I mean, you look at the rotation now; it really kind of looks like Grimes and McBride are probably going to be like the new situational guys. They're probably not going to get playing time. But I mean, that's it's a good problem to have, right?
Good problem to have, and yeah, the rotation changes significantly now. Significantly,
yeah.
Everything changes. When you look at the rotations, and I'm going to bring one across the screen, and when this is the Knicks' current roster situation, and what the lineups will probably look like. And right now, the Knicks have 15 players under contract. Well, as soon as this goes through with Kemba Walker, they'll have 15 players under contract. Kemba Walker as your starting point guard, Evan Fournier at shooting guard, R.J. Barrett at the small forward, Julius Randle at power forward, and Mitchell Robinson at the center position. Those are your starters. Mm-hmm. On the bench, Derrick Rose at point guard, Emmanuel Quickley at shooting guard, Alec Burks at the 3, Obi Toppin at the 4, Nerlens Noel at the 5, and then your situational players are Luka Vildoza, Miles McBride, Quentin Grimes, Kevin Knox, and Taj Gibson.
Yeah.
That's your.
And then
that's
they got that guy Sims
roster.
too, Jericho Sims, but he'll probably be G League. But it's a good team, and it's deep, and it's young. It's not like the 2013 team where that team was deep, but they were all like at the end of their career. This is a young, deep team with cap flexibility and 6 first-round picks going forward.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, listen. There was a lot of talk about trading for Colin Sexton, trying to find a way to do something to get Dennis Schroeder, Reggie Jackson. I mean, Kemba Walker is better than at least 2 of those guys. Colin Sexton, he had a great contract. He's young. You would have had to give up assets. Now the Knicks get a point guard that he's 31 years old, but he's been an all-star. He can play at a high level. You know that he can play at a high level, and you still, like you said, you retain all your assets. So, nothing but positive, in my opinion. Nothing
Absolutely.
but positive. Nick, I appreciate
Absolutely.
your time, man.
Take care.
All right. I appreciate your time. Yes, give me a call, ladies and gentlemen, 516-405-2246. Let's get another call in. Call you live. What's popping?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Julito.
Julito, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, shout out to you, Sim. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat, man. I don't usually call in, but I had to today, y'all. Listen, man, Brock Aller, Leon Rose, World Wide West, the whole regime, excellent job. We got Kemba Walker for $8 million a year. Kemba Walker has made close to $30 million for the last 7 years of his career. We got him for $8 million. If that doesn't make every Knicks fan in the world excited, happy, like my man Gmo just said, low risk, high reward. I think when you got a guy that can easily give you 25 a night, give or take, when you got a starting lineup of 4 guys that can give you 20 a night, plus guys like Julius and RJ, whose defense has been rising every season. Evan Fournier, a dog, a scoring, monster. Then you add Kemba Walker to that. Listen, Sam, it's time to jump out the window. I'm at the ledge, and I think it's time to jump. I think it's time to jump. I'm not going to be too drastic, but I think we're not done. But listen, I saw the video with Julius and Miles Turner. If we can get a Miles Turner with the starting lineup, and we only have to give or take a Mitch, a Knox, maybe Dallas first rounder next season, and we add Miles Turner to this, I think we're a contender. With Tibbs at the helm, I think we're a contender. But I don't want to keep y'all too long. Listen, Kemba Walker's coming home. Cue the music. I'm coming home.
There you go.
Cue the music.
Let's get it.
I'm in the Garden the first day to see the Bronx legend, Kemba Walker, and we get to see that step back in real time. Oh, my God. But again, excellent job. I'm in the comments. Love to everybody.
Appreciate you, Julito. Appreciate you, my man.
You already.
Get you one more phone call.
Andy had a question for you, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, Andy. Let me get you over here real quick. Let me get you over here real quick, and we'll get that question on. Andy, go ahead, man. Can't hear you, Andy.
Now can you hear me?
There you go.
Yeah. You know, Guillermo texted me this question, but he's too shy. Yeah, what about a scenario that the Knicks play the Lakers opening night at MSG, and they play "I'm Coming Home" in front of Carmelo for Kemba?
That's cool.
That'll be a little bit corny, even for me.
That's all right. So it's okay.
It's coming home. It's coming home. What's your thoughts right there? What Julito just said about if the Knicks can go out and get Miles Turner?
Yes.
Now Julito said that makes the Knicks a contender.
No,
I don't know about that, but it makes you a lot. Miles Turner, I don't care what no one says. I know he's not a so-called great rebounder, but he does not fit in that system in Indiana. You get him to the Knicks, you can play him inside. You allow Rand to play on the outside anyway, more so, right? Still a very good defender. People don't give him credit for that. I think he could be a beast for the Knicks. I'm not sure we're contenders. We're not contenders yet. I mean, on paper we look good, but we are that team. Kemba, Miles Turner, Randall, RJ, Evan Fournier. You're beating the. I think you can beat the Hawks. I think possibly you could sneak. You could make the series with the Sixers interesting. If you have a cohesive enough offense, you can make those guys. They step Ben Simmons, who disappeared and he became nothing. He became a feather in that team. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're contenders for a title. I think we are a second round threat. Granted, the Hornets, when they're healthy, they're a good team. You still got the Sixers. You got the Heat, who are a lot better this year. But I think that we could be a threat. Like I like that team. That's a more cohesive team where guys can play off each other. Turner inside, Randall outside, RJ as a wing who doesn't have to do everything. Evan Fournier, who's your scorer, Kemba Walker, who's your smart guard, and the bench that you have, the young guys will be coming up behind them. Derrick Rose off the bench, IQ is your scorer. Noah Well off the bench. Whoa, Noah Well and Mitch off the bench. Well, no, sorry, you'd be trading one of those guys.
You'd be trading one of them, yeah.
My bad, you'd be trading like Mitch, even though I guess you'd be trading Mitch. You'd be trading one of those guys. But even Noah Well off the bench for your defensive rim protector.
Turner can also spread the defense too. He can also be a threat at the three, even though we don't want him shooting threes a lot. But he can give that threat of a 3-point shot, which would open a space in the middle for penetration.
True. Let me get to this phone call. Caller, you live. What's popping, man? What's your name? Where you from?
Hey, how's it going, David? I'm from New York. So I really like all the signings. I think D Rose might be a little bit too many years. I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen him go deep in the playoffs. I don't know how long that he's gonna hold up. Kemba also's got those same question marks. And I think the biggest question mark is, okay, where do we go from here? How do we take that next step forward? I think for sure we're a big threat round 2. But no one's putting us against Milwaukee, Atlanta, the Nets. So what's the next big move? Who's the free agents in 2022? How are we going to make that next big step up? Is there going to be some kind of trade package? Are we using these players as pieces? I just don't see a path forward right now, and I want to see if you guys have any ideas on that.
Well, I don't know what the path forward is as far as who, what player, who it is that we're going to add next. All I can say is with this move, I think the Knicks preserved their position to be in play when and if somebody does come available, right? Because instead of trading a 2022 first round draft pick and some of those 2023 second round draft picks they have and Kevin Knox or Obi, they didn't have to. Right? And so you signed Kemba Walker. And we're not saying he's going to be the all-star guard that he was, a few years back, but he's going to be good for you. He's going to be motivated to come back to New York and perform well. He was going to be motivated to perform well anywhere he went because of, his play the last 2 years. He was going to be motivated to perform well. So I think you're getting a motivated player, but you preserved your assets and you have the type of contracts that you can trade. I think Tony Crow mentioned it a couple nights ago. With Evan Fournier, you have another big contract, if you want to call it big, $19 million a year. So if one of these players come available, you don't have to gut 4 and 5 players just to make the salaries match. If you wanted to trade Evan Fournier, I'm not saying that, they're going out looking to trade him, but if they wanted to, they could use his contract to bring in another big player. Someone like Kemba Walker, if he performs well and he has a $8 million contract, will be valuable for some teams. You say, hey, you know what? We can bring this guy in for a couple of years on $8 million, and he's going to help us, in the short term. So I think the Knicks have positioned themselves very well with favorable contracts that allows them to get out of those contracts within a couple of years. And they have a lot of assets. And they have young players. I mean, the Knicks have, 6, 7 young players on the team, who all have, could be tradable assets, plus draft picks. So they're in a very good position to make a move if one becomes available.
I think you nailed it at the end, and that's the new strategy. In that before this offseason, we had cap space. If there was a free agent, we had room to sign. We don't have that space anymore, but now we have assets. So a Dame comes on the board, we can make a move. Someone like that is not happy, we can make a move.
Right, exactly. We can make a move. And having assets is just as good as having cap space. The Miami Heat have shown you that time and time again. They just signed Kyle Lowry with barely any cap space because they utilized signing trades.
All right. Thanks for your time, guys.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Get you another phone call.
And Duncan Robinson.
Caller, you live. What's popping? What's your name? Where you from?
What's going on, man? It's Pookeen, man, from the Bronx, and I've been a Knicks fan since '92, proudly.
All right. How you feeling tonight? You got to be feeling good. Well, not tonight, this morning. You got to be feling good.
I'm feeling awesome, man. I woke up. I got news from my cousin texted me from Atlanta, like, Kemba coming. I had to go scream from my fire escape. Is this true? Yes, is this true? And I got Raven response. Yes, he's coming home. The prodigal son, Kemba Walker. He lives from not too far from me, so we watched this kid grow his whole life.
Yeah. What do you think this puts the Knicks? I mean, obviously everyone's happy just because he's coming home.
Oh no! See, this is the thing, man. Besides the numbers and stuff, we could talk numbers all day. Numbers never lie. But then you gotta look at the NBA as a whole now. See, I look at it as a drama series, especially the playoffs, man. I feel as we keep staying deep as far as our bench, and we outlast that injury bug that plays a lot of teams in the playoffs, we can still actually have a good set of players to make a deep run.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. Kemba hasn't performed in the playoffs yet, right? He hasn't been, when he went to the Celtics, people thought that Kemba was going to.
Yeah, but look where he was at, though. The Celtics wasn't playing that well anyway. Without Amir, he was banged up. He came back into a system that he wasn't too familiar with because he barely played with these guys. You know what I'm saying? We getting him healthy enough to, start working with our guys and learn everything. We just got to get him back on the defensive side of the ball, man. That's all. That's all I got to worry about, the defense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think with the Knicks he could finally, assuming we get into the playoffs, which I think we will, he could finally have the playoff series, have the type of playoff performance that people thought he would have in Boston? Can he do it with the Knicks?
Man, you know that when you get that hometown feeling, because you did the Mecca, he always put on in Mecca every time. Probably the numbers will probably prove that. When he comes to the Garden, he shows up. Now every night doing that, he's one of those kind of players that got to play with that spark, with that fire under him. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, okay, yeah, no doubt about it, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. I mean, this is what
he had the biggest games of his career, as far as his career at that place that he's going to play at every day. Well, most of the days.
Yeah. This is, the Knicks fans have been waiting for something exciting to happen this offseason.
And the fact that the office has kept it on the low, that's what I liked about how we move. We move in silent. And it's good. And mind you, this is supposed to be our season, our off season next year is supposed to be the season with all the big names.
Mm-hmm.
So we already setting up a package. We already setting up a package that's going to be attractive to a bigger name next year. That made it walk in.
Okay. All right. Do you think this front office, Die Hard believes the front office knew about this, probably weeks ago? You think they knew about it weeks ago?
Absolutely, man. We talk about World Wide West, man. He's playing chess out here, man.
All right.
He's playing chess out here.
All right. Hey, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.
All right. No doubt about it. Kemba Walker to the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get one more call. Then I'll get back to the panel. I know some people are dying to say some things. Caller, you live. What's popping with you? Where you from? What's your name? Where you from?
What's up, Tim? This is Dre from BX, from the BX.
All right. What's your feelings right now? How you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited about Kemba coming home. I think this was a huge move by the Knicks. They it's kind of like it was stealth. Nobody was talking about Kemba coming to New York. Nobody had him on his mind. You was hearing about Schroeder, Reggie Jackson, all these other guys. Nobody mentioned Kemba, but he's coming home. And I'll put my stock in. A proven all-star. Mr. Clutch. He's been clutch for a minute. And I think he still has it in him. I don't think, the Boston situation really didn't pan out the way he wanted it to. It didn't pan out for Kyrie either. We don't really know what was going on in Boston, why, you had two guards come in, it didn't work out, and they moved on. You never know. It's all situation.
That's true. There was a lot of things going on, and you seen it last year. There was just some dysfunction going on in Boston. And
something wasn't right. Something wasn't clicking. It didn't really pan out for Kyrie. It didn't pan out for Kemba. And, these were two guards coming in there at their prime. For all accounts, Boston should have been a lot better off with those guys coming in there. Right. It didn't work out.
Right.
This also sets up moves for you never know. Like you was mentioning, you and the panel was mentioning that, these are short-term contracts. So Kemba comes in, he balls out, he goes off. You never know if later on Dame is like, well, listen, y'all ain't set me up. Now you got the pieces to move to Portland.
Right.
So if Kemba's balling out, you could probably move Kemba's contract along with somebody else and probably get a Dame to snatch it up. So, to work, it makes more sense.
Yeah. Any concern? I'm gonna ask you this, and then I'm gonna come and ask the chat the same thing. Any concerns about, Tom Thibodeau? We seen last year, if Derrick Rose was healthy, Derrick Rose was getting those, 36, 37 minutes. Any concerns that he does the same thing with Kemba, given his injury history the last couple of years?
Right now, I think we're in a better position. Last year, we didn't have who we were to be going into this season with. Like when you have a Kemba, you have a Rose. Like you said, you could split those minutes, and then you have quickly with another year, with a whole year of actually learning. We didn't really have that depth. That's why he rode Alfred for as long as he rode Alfred. But then, Alfred wasn't producing. So then you have to lean on a Rose. You have to lean on a Rose because you're not getting that production from that position. You're not getting it. You're not like Gmo said. You're not getting. It was a lack of just knowledge of the game on how the game should be run. There was too many instances where we had somebody else other than Rose on the court at the position, and that's why we leaned so much on Julius to be that facilitator. But now with somebody like Kemba who comes in, who has big game experience, who has the knowledge on how to keep the offense flowing, you got Kemba and you got Rose. And even someone quickly could come in and could play that position. And you don't got to lean on Alec Burks or Julius all the time. The offense should flow better, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because now you have more competent people being that coach on the floor, being that distributor, setting up, running the plays that Thibodeau wants him to run. And he don't necessarily have to lean too much on just one individual player. Hopefully, I would like to see now them get, I believe in Toppin, but I would like to see them go out and get a serviceable power forward now Julius ain't got to play 40 minutes. Now that you got your point guard situation straightened out, now go get, a power forward that can come in give Julius a spell. So now we don't got to, because we don't know whether or not Toppin's going to be ready. So for all accounts, if you do that, then we should be good to go, and we can be able to compete with any team in the East, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. And that's what Melo was supposed to do. That's the reason why Leon Rose was trying to bring Melo in. And I see Gmo over there, bristling. He's bristling in his seat and everything because I brought up Melo's name. You know what I'm saying?
I understood you. I seen the show the other day, and I seen you and going back and forth about that, and I was like, yo, but Sim got a point. All Melo got to do is come in and give Julius a spell. That's it. Come in, hit some big shots, give him a spell. You just want him to give him a spell. Somebody that knows what to do when they hit the court. Nobody else.
Caller. That's not what Sim. That's not the only thing Sim wants to do.
That's all. That's
not the only. Sim is hoping Melo could slowly come back into the starting lineup. Look,
no, man. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. He's in LA now. You know what I'm saying? So he's in LA now. But that's all I wanted. Come in, give Julius a spell, knock down a couple of threes. That's what, and I think that's what Leon Rose wanted from him, right? Just to give Julius a spell. But
I think that's what the thought process was, But there has to be somebody on the market, because I don't, Toppin still stop. I think Toppin's a 2-3 year project, so he's gonna take some time to get, to meet his, whatever his expectancy level is.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we get somebody that could come in that could be that maybe even like a Ursan or Soba, I don't know. But somebody that could come in and just give Julius a spell. That's what we need.
Okay. Hey, my man, I appreciate your time, bro. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy. Have a great day. I don't know if there's anybody. I mean, I think right now they're probably just going to roll with Obi. I mean, you have no choice but to roll with Obi. I don't think they're going to make any other moves.
What's with Taj in?
I mean, yeah, they can use Taj. They can use Taj. But, they almost don't have any other choice right now. I don't see them making any other moves to bring in. I mean, I guess they could. But I think right now they're probably good. Right? They're probably good. They're probably like, we're going to stay home right here. I'm going to read off the roster once again. And then, well, actually, before I do that, I asked the caller about any concerns with Tom Thibodeau riding Kemba too hard. Guillermo?
So I was just reading up on him, right, on Kemba Walker, and Tom Thibodeau's going to have to play tightrope, right? You can't play this guy too much because he had something called Regenokine. I might be saying that terribly wrong, therapy on his knee. And that's the same that Kobe got, Al Harrington got in the early 2010s. And it's an experimental, I think it's the one with I think it's the one with the blood, but I might be wrong, the blood spinning thing. But it says that it's to treat maladies such as osteoarthritis and other inflammatory diseases. So I'll tell you this, with arthritis in the knee, that never gets better.
Right.
Because essentially once that cartilage goes, it's basically bone on bone. It's what similar to what Brandon Roy had. So what they try to do is strengthen the muscles around the knee, so there's not as much pressure on the knee. So you can't play Kemba like, even like D Rose, right? You can't play it possibly, 30 minutes here and there. You have to spell Kemba, because he just has situations just never going to get better. It is what it is. And there might be times where he might have to, it may not even just be, it might also be physical therapy trying to get strong. You're going to have to balance that throughout the season, right? Because obviously you can't be lifting, can't be doing crazy stuff during the season anyway. But, Tom Thibodeau cannot ride this player and his physical health like he did with other players. He has to adjust to Kemba Walker's situation.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully, him knowing he's got Derrick Rose, he'll be able to say, hey, we'll throw Derrick Rose in there. And like we said earlier, if they can just split that time, obviously on certain nights, one player is going to get more minutes than the other, but having both of them is such a luxury.
But this is where your young players come into, like you said, conditional, because Derrick Rose is also up there in age. I know he played, but we also have to consider these guys are getting older. So it's not as if it's like, oh, we're just going to go about it again. Sometimes, your body just can just drop off, or just drops off even more than it last year. So this is a time for a guy like Miles McBride. If he gets those conditional minutes, step up, take the challenge, man. You know what Tom Thibodeau wants. He wants you to come in, play defensive 5, maybe 10 minutes. You come in, you can hit a 3. If you could drive to the basket, finish it. I'm gonna let Evergreen go because he's dying.
No. Let me.
Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
Let Evergreen get in here. Evergreen, I'm gonna ask you this. What do you think about this right here, man? I'm gonna read this roster out to you. All right. Kemba Walker. Here's your starters. Kemba Walker, point guard. Evan Fournier, shooting guard. R.J. Barrett, small forward. Julius Randle, power forward. Mitchell Robinson at center. On your bench, Derrick Rose at point guard. Emmanuel Quickly at shooting guard. Alec Burks at the 3. Obi Toppin at the 4. Nerlens Noel at the 5. Your situational players are Luka Veldoza, Miles McBride, Quentin Grimes, Kevin Knox, and Taj Gibson. Evergreen.
If we play Atlanta again with that team healthy, sweep. Get him out of here.
Oh,
sweep.
Soundview stand up. Watson Ave in the building. Kemba Walker is here. I'm the prophet right now. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm the prophet. I've been talking about fiscal responsibility this whole time. Right? Okay. I said it on Lawrence Tears. I said, just wait. Something can still happen. Fiscal responsibility, right? When everybody wanted KD and Kyrie, who was the only person on the panel that said, no, I want Kemba.
That was like 2-3 years ago.
Atlanta again, we sweep them. If we play Atlanta again, we sweep them. With the healthy Mitch, with the healthy Kemba Walker, we sweep them. No question about it. We're making the playoffs again this season early.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Soundview is in the building right now. Kemba Walker's home. What more do you want? You can't get mad at Leon Rose for the way they drafted. You can't get mad at Brock for the way they signed contracts. There's no excuse for anybody to be upset about anything anymore, to include me, because I was pissed off about the Evan Fournier signing. But he just played with Kemba Walker last season. Nobody can be mad about what happened this offseason. The whole break between free agency and the start of the draft, it's like a 3-day break. And people were losing their damn minds. And now all of a sudden everybody's happy. Come on now, Salvi was in the building.
Let me ask you this. I'm
gonna go get the new jersey, the new Knicks jersey, the new classic joint.
Yeah,
with whatever with Kemba Walker's name on the back. It's over. It's a wrap.
Let me ask you this. Last year in Boston, Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, albeit Kemba Walker didn't play a lot due to injuries. I think he played 43 games or something like that. Evan Fournier was only there for half a season. But they had Jason Tatum, right? You got Brown with the Knicks. You got Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and you got Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. They didn't do much with it in Boston with Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker. Obviously, I guess Kemba Walker maybe wasn't playing at the end. I don't know. Jason Tatum, Brown. I mean, is there more with the Knicks than what Boston had?
Bro,
Marcus Smart. Obviously, there's a different coach, but they have Marcus Smart over there. Is there more? Do the Knicks have more than what Boston had last year?
The easy answer to your question is, who was Boston's power forward? Who is Boston's center?
Yeah, who's their center?
Who is Boston's power forward and who is Boston's center?
Who was their center? Tice?
Question,
I don't know who their center was. Tice?
It was Daniel Tice.
Daniel Tice? Okay.
So when you ask yourself those two questions, that will answer the question regarding, if there's something there. Who is Evan Fournier's center when he was in Orlando? Vucevic? Or was he playing the 4?
No, he's playing Vucevic.
And Vucevic was in and out of injury all season too. That's why they moved him and got him.
I mean, I'm just focused. I'm just saying we got two players that played for Boston last year. Boston, cracked up, fell apart. Two of their players are here now, and it's not Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. Right? So you switch in a shooting guard and a power forward for another shooting guard and power forward. I guess Jason Tatum can go between power forward and small forward. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, dude, the Knicks have more than what Boston had. Obviously, we have a different coach.
Absolutely. Just off of the bigs alone. Jason Tatum is not a true power forward. He doesn't do the things that quote unquote traditional power forwards are supposed to do. Juju can do that. Juju can give you your rebounds. He can give you your inside scoring. Jason Tatum wasn't bullying like what we would see a power forward should do. Jason Tatum was playing. They were playing damn near 3 wings. They were playing 3 wings and a biscuit, and didn't have the biscuit because Kemba Walker was in and out of injury. Now they got the whole kit and caboodle, bro. This is all we need. Give me the first 20 games to develop chemistry so that Kemba Walker can get used to how Tom Thibodeau works, right? He's going to have Derrick Rose to be able to explain to him on the other end, this is what Tom Thibodeau expects from a player's point of view. And he's already got the leadership. He's already got it. He was a leader in Charlotte the whole time. He came to Boston and tried to do that, but clearly something wasn't working. I don't know what it was, but clearly something wasn't working there, just like you said earlier, because they had Kyrie and clearly something wasn't working there. Maybe the same thing happened over there. But there's a level of pride that I know that Kemba Walker is going to come to and play for, and he's going to be very respectable of what Tom Thibodeau expects, right? Kemba Walker is damn near a junior Knicks all-star from way back.
All right.
So he knows about the basketball culture here. He's from. Right. Come on, bro. It's nothing more to say.
Okay.
Knicks in 3. That's what
Knicks
I gotta say.
Knicks
All right,
let me get to a couple super chats here. Donald Cannon, thank you for the super chat. He said, Andy, are you gonna take down that Frank poster?
Oh,
please, God, take down that Frank poster.
Got to. Sorry, Andy.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Someone in the chat said that I should auction it for charity, or I don't know, go give it out for some shelter. But I don't want the homeless people to move out of the shelter, so I'm gonna keep it probably on the attic somewhere. But for real, yeah, it's gonna have to be changed, guys. Not gonna lie.
Are you gonna replace it with Kemba Walker?
You should.
First, I'm gonna watch the summer league.
I got a present for you, Andy.
I don't know if you can. You think you can roll it and post it to Poland?
I'll do it if you want it, man.
Shout out to Gartrell Davis. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I think the Knicks had the inside track because one of the Knicks GM, Frank Zander, worked for OKC back in 2020. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they probably did. Hank Deasy said to Evergreen, Hawks in 5. And then Hank Deasy again, thank you for the super chat. He said, we got John Collins back, Hawks in 5. And then Lil Smokey said, You got Kemba to get swept by Miami, Bucks, Nets, or the Sixers.
We wouldn't play them, smart guy. Why would we play them? We're probably gonna be at 4. What are you talking about? Shut up.
Didn't the Knicks
Shut up.
didn't the Knicks sign somebody in the front office from OKC last summer?
Yeah, that's what the guy was saying. Frank Zanin.
Right, Frank Zander, exactly. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Listen, we're gonna maintain the 4 spot, right? We're gonna maintain the 4 spot. That's I'm calling it now. I will honestly say we're clearly not better than the Bucks because they just won a chip. You automatically have to put a healthy Brooklyn team up there. Philadelphia is probably right under them, depending on how the cookie crumbles between them two. And
The Heat,
and then maybe Miami.
what?
Based off of the way we lost, maybe Miami.
Maybe Miami?
He could have beat them all
Maybe
last
Miami.
year.
Maybe Miami.
Hold up.
What big change did they make?
Huh?
They got Kyle Lowry. I don't have faith in Kyle Lowry like y'all do. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't have faith in Kyle Lowry like y'all do.
Wow.
We
Like-
couldn't beat them.
Bro.
But they
I
gooned
got
up.
you.
They doubled down on the goons in Miami.
Hold up. And they got Markieff Morris.
Markieff Morris, shooter,
Markieff,
goon.
I'm not worried about Markieff. Come on, man. You said Markieff Morris?
They're also
PJ
more
Tucker
healthy.
too, right?
And PJ
PJ
Tucker.
Tucker's good.
And PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker's good. Again, I'm putting them above us. So between 4 and 5 is the spot we're at. We're in the same playoff position.
You also have to consider the Hornets too. If they're healthy, because they were you could do that all you want. They were in 4th last season when they had Hayward and LaMelo healthy. They were looking to take that fourth spot until Hayward got hurt. And you have another season LaMelo. Yeah, I mean you have Miles Bridges, PJ. Like I'm not saying they're gonna be eons above us, but that's the team to consider too.
And Chicago.
When Charlotte got hurt, Mitchell Robinson also got hurt. So there went
Yeah, but the only thing that fell off when Mitchell Robinson got hurt was offensive rebounding and putbacks.
That's a big thing.
Yo,
I agreed. I'm not saying it's not, but let's not make it seem like it's 1 for 1. No, because Gordon Hayward getting hurt is more than Mitchell Robinson getting hurt.
Yeah, Guillermo,
And
but
then
we had Rose out, we had Burks out.
we have Burks out. Yeah, talk about it, man. You got to give our team credit.
Yeah.
You got to give our team credit.
No doubt. We got credit, but we can't look at the other teams in the East and say they didn't get better or won't be better. Chicago just added DeMar DeRozan. That's going to make them better.
Yeah,
right?
but we Knicks fans, man, so I'm not giving these guys credit for nothing. Knicks don't get the first seed. Knicks don't get the first seed and win the championship, and what?
I'm just saying. I know what
coming in key parts. I can't give it to Chicago because I don't know how that team looks yet.
Right.
That's why I'll give a team like the Hawks. I give them more credence because that team is
I
good
agree.
together. Playing together, having cohesion for another year,
I agree.
that can make you even more dangerous. The Bulls, whatever. I'm not.
I mean, listen,
Look,
Gmo, hold up.
The same exact sentiment. Same exact sentiment because when Orlando moved Vucevic to Chicago, everybody was losing their minds like, oh my God, Chicago's about to take a big jump before and make a big jump in the playoffs. And look what happened to them. They got
agree.
Vucevic and they skunked.
I
now
agree.
They're about to get 2 new players.
I agree. I agree with you, Evergreen. I agree with you. But obviously it's going to be a totally different team next year, right? And you just can't discount. I mean, you can't discount the additions of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan. Although I'm not a huge fan of DeMar DeRozan, you can't discount those additions to the team. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be better. They're going to be way better than they were last season. That's without a doubt. And I agree with Gmo. Atlanta suffered injuries last year. They had a bunch of injuries, and they were still the 5th seed and still made the Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to be better next year. They could be a top 3 team if they stay healthy all season long.
Oh, that's blasphemy, Sim.
It is not.
Sim, it's not blasphemy, bro. Come on, you can't be this disrespectful on your own show. Sim.
I'm not, bro.
What are you doing?
Hold up. Why would they not? Tell me why they wouldn't. They made the Eastern Conference Finals. They suffered as many injuries last year as we did. I'm just being real about it. They suffered as many injuries as we did last year, and they still made the 5th seed, and they still made the Eastern Conference Finals.
Sim.
Why would they not be a better team next year?
I got you, Sim. Let's build slowly, right? We gotta bring everybody through the story slowly. Milwaukee won a championship. Yes.
Yeah.
Brooklyn had two of their superstars out. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Between Ben Simmons and Embiid, they both were on and off their playoff run. Yes.
We don't know what Philadelphia is going to be. I mean, what? I don't understand what you're saying. We don't know what Philadelphia is going to be. What? The facts are the facts. Atlanta made the Eastern Conference Finals, and they suffered injuries all season long. Those are the facts.
Bro,
we had a walking injury. His name was Elfrid Payton.
The same thing goes with Philly. The same thing goes. They suffered injuries all season long too.
Hey,
They
how
suffered
could you?
injuries all season long too.
But were they healthy in the playoffs? Were they healthy in the playoffs?
No, not the whole playoffs. Absolutely not.
We had Nerlens
For the most part, they were. Who were they missing?
Come on, Sim.
Who were they missing?
Come on, Sim.
Who were they missing?
Embiid was out for a few games in the first round. Right? Ben Simmons was out a few games in the second round.
Did they advance?
Simmons was out the whole series.
Come on,
bro.
Sim.
In terms of his,
bro.
We can't do this, Sim.
Atlanta is a better team.
God,
Atlanta could very well be a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I'm sorry. I think they could very well be a top 3 team.
I think so too.
They were supposed to be a top 4 team last year. They suffered a lot of injuries. They're going to get better. They could be a top 3 team. Steph, what do you think about this?
I only have 5 minutes. I had to sneak out. And I'm not here to rain on the Kemba parade. I think if Kemba is healthy, he helps the Knicks. I know people saying that he lost a step, he may be washed. I don't think so. I think he's better than what we had. If he's healthy, I think it's a big upgrade for the Knicks. And at $7 million, $8 million, whatever they're going to give him, I think that's fine. This is my issue with Kemba. He hasn't been available for at least last year, maybe two years. He hasn't been available. So my concern is if we're in a playoff race, if we're making a playoff push, missing playoff games, that's my concern. If we had a starting point guard and he was on our team, I would be ecstatic right now. But as our starting point guard, it gives me pause that he may not be available when we need him. That's my only pause. And the fact that he's only making $8 million doesn't comfort me. If he's not available in a playoff game, a playoff series, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, we lost this series, but at least we only paid him $8 million. Like, I'm not going to be happy about that. So if he's healthy, I'm ecstatic. But if he continues what has been happening the past 2-3 years, I think it's a big risk that the Knicks are taking that he won't be available when we need him. And to back him up is another guard who also is on minute restriction and has injury concern. That's my only issue with Kemba, his availability. Other than that, I don't have a problem with the signing. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's going to be everybody's concern, the durability, which is, we just hope that him and Rose never get hurt at the same time. If one of them is going to be out, Kemba's out and then Rose is here and then Rose is out and Kemba's here. Hopefully we have them both. If Tom Thibodeau does right, you can't always say that because you never know what could happen. But Tom Thibodeau has to do his part in making sure that he's not overplaying those two guys.
Right. But if Kemba's hurt and we move Rose up, now we got IQ because Rose still, even if Kemba's hurt, I still think we can't play Rose 30 minutes. I think we still have to play him 20, 25 minutes. So now we with the rookie McBride or IQ. So I don't know. I would feel more comfortable. Anybody can get injured at any time. Don't get me wrong. I would feel more comfortable if we traded for or was able to sign somebody without that injury history. One more point, Andy. When you think about Brooklyn, Kyrie has that same injury history. You never know when he's going to go down. But at least you got Harden and you got KD. So you still have a chance if he does go down. If Kemba goes down, that really hurts us.
Yeah, it definitely does. Go ahead, Andy. Then I want to get to a couple super chats.
Yeah, firstly, I didn't pull out the Frank card Steph did about the injuries about the players, so don't nag at me about it. But to be real, listen, I think the most hard thing for Tibbs to do is about the managing minutes, right? I think is if he plays those guys for 20 a couple of minutes and is able to spare minutes for McBride, for quickly for Burks at that point guard
Right.
in games that we are like above 20 points or below 20 points, because that's a nag on Tibbs, right? No matter if the game is huge ups or huge downs, he still rolls with the guys. And
does.
at this position, we can't afford it. You can play Julius because he's not injury prone. You can play RJ in there. No, you can spare Mitch a little bit because he's walking like on jello. But I think the point guard position, if the game is settled or we have a bigger lead, you got to try to input a McBride there, a Vildoza, a Quickly, whoever. Just don't risk those minutes on the court. And
But
for
do you
Tibbs,
think
that's going to be a
his-
hard thing to do.
That's what I'm trying to. He's going to roll Kemba out there like anybody. The other teams roll out their starting point guards.
He can't. He has to wake up, man. He was doing that. Remember the Pistons game were up by like almost 30 or something like that, and Randall and RJ. And mind you, I think it might be wrong, but Randall then had like a knee contusion or something like that, but it's also kind of like wear and tear on him. He got tired. RJ, obviously, the ankle thing that acted up in the Minnesota game. I like Tibbs. I'm not one of these crazy people who say fire him like that, but he has to wake up, man. If you're talking about trying to keep Kemba, if you're trying to compete, if you are a coach who's not trying to build for the so-called future and these young guys, you want to compete and beat a Hawks team, he has to wake up. Kemba's injury is not like Derrick Rose. It's like this is an ongoing issue. It's going to be bone on bone. It's not going to get better. This is not time. And Kemba's a smart enough player. Like Kemba's ceiling in terms of, he's going to learn new things. Like it's there. He is what he is. So he has to preserve Kemba. Like if I see Tom Thibodeau doing that crap, it's good. And then you also have a bunch of young guards to play too. You have Luka Vildoza who could begin some time. You have McBride who you just drafted. You just said you like. So Tom Thibodeau has to wake the F up. Enough with that high school coaching.
But let me ask you this:
players,
are the Knicks deeper this year than they were last year?
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Much deeper this year. So maybe hopefully he'll recognize that. Say, you know what, we're deeper. We have more change the way that the Knicks play offense. Well, I guess you can say the addition of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. How much does it change the way the Knicks play?
I'm hoping there's more ball movement. I'm hoping there's more playmaking other than out of Randall, right? Because Fournier can play make, Kemba can play make, I believe. I haven't seen him in such a long time. It seems like, and then you got RJ, then you got Randall. So I'm hoping that they can't just key on Randall in our offense. I'm hoping that the offense doesn't run strictly through Randall, right? That there are more options in the offense. This is where we get to see if Tibbs was just running the offense he ran because that's what we had, or if he understands offense and can really maximize his players. So I'm hoping for a more free-flowing offense where you don't really know where anybody can initiate the offense, basically.
Yeah. Die Hard, what's your take on that? How much do you think this offense changes with these two additions?
Well, I think we're gonna run the same offense. The thing with Tom Thibodeau is trust. So if we're up by 30, whatever, he's old school. Listen, if we're losing by 30, you did it, stay out there. If you winning, you did it, stay out there. And then who was he gonna trust off the bench? Like Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox. These are the guys that you want to come in during those blowouts. We'll lose the blowout, then we got to put them back, put our starters back in. Who are we trusting? And just as far as to answer your question about the offense, I just feel like we run a triangle set. We have to utilize Randall's ability to dribble the basketball. We already taking the ball off of rebounds and starting fast breaks. Everybody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? So adding Fournier is going to add another ball handler. Along with the shooting, he can get to the basket. He can start breaks. He could finish breaks. That's going to be a big thing too. Kemba Walker is going to do the same. So I feel like we're going to play exactly the same, except it's going to look way better because we have more talent. And just to touch on all this stuff, you guys are kind of upsetting me a little bit because I mean, like we're Knicks page. So why are we automatically saying, okay, no, these guys are definitely going to be here, but our guys, I don't know about our guys. So why are we here? Why are we here? We're not going to talk good about our team.
I'll tell you why.
No, it's not.
Hold on. I'm not talking bad about the team because I think we improved. But when you're looking at your competition, you got to say, okay, we improved, but did other teams improve as well? Because if we don't look at other teams and see that they improved, then we're not going to know that we've got to improve too. So we got to look at those teams and say, okay,
yet. These guys got their players.
I get that.
We don't know if they're better than us. They didn't play a game yet.
I get that. But you still got to look and say, okay, these are the teams we got to compete with. And then you look at your team and say, does our roster compete with those teams? Right? I mean, from the beginning, that's how you've got to look at it that way. If not, I think you're selling yourself short.
Not from a negative standpoint, not from us, not from a negative standpoint. I feel like there's negativity. Everybody's coming from a negative spot.
How?
Like Steph is automatically off the rip saying, yo, if the guys aren't healthy, then I don't know what. But if anybody's healthy, and then like Guillermo went all the way straight to the bench and forgot all about Quickly and Burks. We have super depth. Like if we lose Walker and Rose, we got Quickly and Burks. And then we still got the rookies behind that.
We got
six. I just don't get where this conversation is going because we were the 4th seed. Miami barely made the playoffs this year. They went to the finals the year before and then they digressed. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Bro. When I mentioned the guys, all I did was only mention McBride. I mean, I said Bedoza. I didn't want to go down the whole list of guys. You could say whoever you want. I'm not poo-pooing the team. You got to be objective. Like. Who goes in?
You could be objective, but the thing is, you could be objective by other teams. It's not our team, but the Knicks, we can't be objective by our own team.
Wait, but I got
being objective.
We got better, and I sat up here saying Kemba Walker is like this. Basketball's not the Mighty Ducks. It's not like we're gonna beat the big bad team. It's like we have to self-assess ourselves properly. But I gave this team a lot of credit. We got better by getting Kemba Walker. The contracts it comes out to be more flexible. Like, what do you want me to say? That we're gonna be the 1 seed? No. There are a bunch of teams, like the Hawks being who they are. Think about this. You add in Kemba Walker, who had any injuries. Past 2 seasons, he's played less. He played 56, I think, 2 seasons ago, 40 last season. I might be getting the numbers exactly wrong. You're talking about Evan Fournier, who's just coming to this team, right? And you're talking about a team, again, with Juice Randle, RJ Barrett, only 2 guys truly coming back. Obviously, Mitchell comes back too, but he was injured too. So you have a bunch of disjointed parts, and now you can say that, you got to be optimistic. You hate. No, it's being objective to say that we do not.
No, I'm not. With the energy that you just said, well, I'm not being optimistic. I'm not being optimistic. Knicks are going to do so good. Oh, my God, I'm a great Knicks fan. Well, your Knicks are going to be so good. I'm not talking like that. The Knicks ran it back, not just with 2 players, Julius Randle and RJ. We ran it back with Burks. Rose, we ran it back with. Mitch is still here.
The whole bench.
We ran the whole team back. The only the person that we added is we got rid of Elfrid Payton and we got rid of Bullock and we added Fournier and Frank is still here until you take down that poster, bro. But anyway, I'm just a little annoyed, man, because I feel
all I'm saying
if you're gonna be objective about the other teams in the league, we need to be objective about our own team as well.
We were the worst offense last season, and we not the worst. We were one of the worst offenses last season. We got by playing defense, a grueling defense that it grinds players to a halt. That's not sustainable. We don't know how the offense is looking. So I can't say we're going to go all the way.
Bro, hold on. I can't let you do that, Guillermo. All right. Here's the issue. Here's the issue. It's not that we were the worst offense.
No, I said I correct. I said we're one of the worst offenses.
Okay, whatever. One of the worst, 12th of the worst, 39th of the worst. It's not that we were the worst. It's that we played a slower brand of basketball. How the hell can you be one of the worst offenses when you finish the league at number 2 in 3-point percentage?
Because I look at
hold up. Hold up.
Per game, it says we're one of the worst offenses. We're not.
Yeah, we were 41 and 31, regardless of what. 41 and 31. So put some respect on their name.
That's not the point. The point is that we do not know how this offense will look. Do we think it looks better on paper? Obviously, yes.
Yeah, but we obviously think that Chicago's offense is going to be better because they're above us.
Hold on. Let me stop right here. Let me stop right here. Let me stop here. I don't think anyone is saying that Chicago's offense or defense is going to be better, or this team, the teams that we were vying for last year is definitely going to be better or worse. I was just naming out which teams upgraded their rosters. And we have to compete with those teams. And you've got to look at it that way. This team upgraded their roster. Where do we compare to those teams right now? Do we need to make more moves? Why do you think people are asking about should we add a Miles Turner? Not because we're the best team, because we got to compete with these teams in the Eastern Conference. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you still got to build your team. I don't think there's anything wrong with being excited about upgrading your team, but also looking and saying, how do we compete with other teams that's in the Eastern Conference? Because you got to compete with those teams anyway. Let me read a couple of super chats here. First one I want to read is Above the Rim 1115. Said Evergreen. And just a real quick answer, Evergreen. He said, do you trade Mitch for Turner, and do we pick up Millsap?
Is Millsap did he get waived? What's his deal contractually?
I don't know.
If we can get him on a veterans minimum, yes, we pick up Millsap. That's just more depth. And I like Mitch. I don't really want to move Mitch. I get that Miles Turner is better, but again, like I really, really, really value chemistry. I value chemistry so much. So the fact that we have the ability to bring these players back, like I don't want to be in the same exact issue that Chicago was in last year, where you think the replacement or the addition of one player is going to change, is going to change something. I like the chemistry. I know Mitch wants to be here. I want a player that wants to be here. I don't just want a player that says I want out of Indiana. I want a player that wants to be here, right? Okay. Because there's something about having pride for a team, right? And feeling a sense of camaraderie because you all have something to relate to. Like that's what I'm saying. This chemistry stuff is not to be taken lightly. So the fact that we brought, Nerlens and Burks back should say something. And I think that the rest of the team is looking like this organization really wants to keep us here. Moving Mitch is going to put a damper within that link, a damper within that chemistry, and you have to rebuild that all over again. Elfrid Payton was already on his way out the door, so bringing Kemba Walker in is just a new addition to that. Bringing Evan Fournier in was just a new addition to that, right? So we can't take chemistry lightly. So I would like Miles Turner, but not at the expense of moving the starting center. No.
Okay. Well, I tend to think that if you're bringing in Miles Turner, you're going to be moving Mitch. You're either going to be moving Mitch or Nerlens Noel. Part of the reason why I think they gave Nerlens Noel a little bit of a longer contract is because they're probably not sure what's going to happen with Mitch next year. Remember, Mitch is on. They picked up his option. It's $1.8 million. And will they extend Mitch next year? Who knows? You know what I mean? It's part of the reason why they say, hey, we can get Nerlens Noel, have him for at least 2 years. So that we can, we have some security there at that center spot. Big shout out to John Kim. Thank you for the super chat. He said, everyone is overreacting too much. We overachieved last year. We're still building towards staying in the playoffs consistently. We had a solid draft. And he said, question, do you think we are setting up to get Zion and not Dame? I don't know. I don't know. I don't it's
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. We will see. Hank Deasy, thank you for the super chat. He said Atlanta got Ben Simmons fired. He's still in Philadelphia right now. And Lil Smokey, thank you for the super chat. He said Lowry is a leader. Kemba is not. He said Kemba is not. I'm not tripping. The Heat are stacked. We'll see. Kemba's coming in. He's going to have some fire in his belly, playing for his hometown team, right? He wants to show and prove that, he can play better than he played last year and the season before. You know what I'm saying? Injuries and those type of things really hampered his production. I'm sure he's coming back to show and prove right now. So, I'm not worried about that. I think Kemba is listen, Kyle Lowry wasn't on the board for us. Chris Paul wasn't on the board for us. If the point guard's available, he's the very best of the point guards that were available to the New York Knicks. And, he's had a lot of experience leading a team. And every player gets in a situation where, they're struggling to get to the top. And then once they get there, then people are like, oh, wow, this guy can still play ball, or this guy can ball, or that, whatever it is. Hopefully Kemba gets there. You know what I mean? Ralph Unreal, he says, Sim, you aren't going to build a title team that fast. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't build a title team that fast. That's why you got to look at your competition, because you don't build a title team in a day. So you look at
Everybody
and you see
else does, though.
everybody else doesn't. you get one team that wins a championship every single year. Everybody else does not win a championship. Everybody else doesn't.
No, I'm talking about the constants of everything that's happened. Oh wow, these guys here. Look, I forgot I keep forgetting the other guys. The original guy that was here before. He said we were 6, 7 seed automatically. It's like how do you determine these guys get better? They didn't play a game yet. That's why I don't understand. I get that we're gonna get better, obviously. You know what I'm saying? We all got the same knowledge here. You know what I'm saying? We with the way that we set up the roster, we have a lot of movable parts. We got a lot of draft picks. Things can happen. Guys become available. Dan becomes available. We could possibly snatch him up. I get all that. We got to get better regardless, man. But I mean, just face value for what's happened. Just looking at it. You know, being objective for everybody. I feel like the Knicks are in the mix just as much as anybody else.
They are. But that's what we're saying. They're in the mix. They're in the mix just as everybody else. But we got to recognize that everybody else is in the mix as well, and that teams have gotten better and they've improved. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Leon Rose is Jada Kiss today.
Oh my God.
Leon Rose is Jada Kiss today, ladies and gentlemen.
Chill, man.
No, don't chill. G-Mo don't want to hear that.
No Dipset.
G-Mo don't want to hear that one. He don't want to hear that one. He was hurt yesterday.
Hey, Sim, I don't want to separate the fan base, Sim, but I'm from Soundview. I'm not from Harlem today. I'm from Soundview.
All I'm saying is
if you Harlem,
you still got your big white tee in your closet. Don't do that. You still got a
Harlem. Y'all got to sit down for the rest of the week. Understand that Soundview, we got y'all. We can hold y'all up for the rest of the year. Y'all can relax, chill out, take a little break. The Bronx got you. All right. Soundview is here. Harlem, y'all relax. We still love y'all, but Harlem, just relax for a couple days. Once you realize what we got, all right, Harlem. Once you realize what we got, then you can say, all right, we can come back outside. We'll give you a couple days. Don't come outside today though. Don't come across that bridge. Y'all stay over there. But just know that Soundview gonna hold y'all down for a while. We got you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We up out of here. Any last words, Andy? Some last words, man, real quick, like 30 seconds, because I'm going to get up out of here. Andy?
Yeah, what you guys got to remember, tomorrow, Coach's Corner coming back from vacation the rundown on the Rooks. We're going to probably, say a couple of nice words for those guys too. So stay with us tomorrow.
No doubt. G-Mo?
Yeah, man, just cautiously optimistic. Let's see how things shake out.
All right, and Die Hard.
Die Hard, exactly. I'm a Die Hard fan. This is the energy that I'm always going to keep. I'm cautiously optimistic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Knicks fan. That's it. I mean, cautiously optimistic and all this other nonsense. I can keep it straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan.
Nonsense. No, you're a homer. You're speaking nonsense.
I'm not a homer. I'm a Knicks fan.
You're a homer. Cautiously optimistic.
You are a know-it-all. You are a know-it-all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head up out of here. Like I said, Leon Rose is Jada Kiss today, ladies and gentlemen. Good move by the New York Knicks. Kemba Walker on his way to New York as soon as he clears waivers with OKC. Fan base is excited. Let's get it. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.